Okay, I swear I'm gonna do something other than just these movie lists, but yeah, it's that time again. I'm following along with Lisa Loves as she does these movie lists from the book Film Listography, and this one is horrors that freak you out. So, this was a hard one to do just because when I was younger, everything freaked me out, and now I'm kind of dead inside, so I don't know. But so I've made a list. I put thought into it, but I had trouble narrowing it down and like picking what I wanted to go on the list, which is what happens every time. I do spend a lot of time trying to think of movies, but then it just ends up me, okay, I'm putting too much thought into this, so let me just put some movies down on this list right quick. These are in no particular order. So, first up, I'm going to get this one out of the way because, ugh. The New York Ripper. I think I watched that for the Slashback challenge for like sleazy slashers or something, and it was definitely sleazy. And the part that freaked me out, I mean, you would think razor blade through the eyeball would be the part that freaked me out, but no, I was actually fine with that. Oh, okay. Because before that point, we had the scene where the guy basically sexually assaults the one woman with his toe, but it's also kind of icky because she's some kind of nympho, so I don't even want to think about it. It was just next, the Blair Witch Project. When that came out, I watched that for the first time thinking it was like something that had really happened. The person that gave it to me or told me about it told me it was like a true thing. So I kind of believed that while I was watching it the first time. I think during the movie I started like, but it really freaked me out. So we're going to put that on the list. I don't know that it would still freak me out, but kind of found footage stuff I think has the potential to freak me out if they're not doing that dramatic acting, overacting like movie. I mean, there's a difference between movie acting and something that seems like based in reality. So when they can like convince me that it's more real, I think it's a little creepier than not. But I don't know. Sometimes it just varies. Yeah. So that's that one. Three. It Follows. I watched that one for the first time when I first got my a projector, which was kind of a terrible projector. Like you could see all the little resolution lines and stuff if you got, which I mean, I had like a huge screen, so of course it was back further from the screen. But I mean, the projector I have now is great. You don't have that issue. Yeah. But that first one I got. But this was the first movie I watched with it. Why am I rambling so much? This was the first movie I watched with it, and oh crap, it was scary. Like especially like when in there a part where they're driving off and they see like a naked person on the roof. Oh, I forgot to mention, like a lot of the ones I was gonna put on my list were on Lisa's list, so I've opted to go with different ones. Like for example, Hereditary would have been on my list. Like especially all the naked people, like where they would just be standing around the house. That was freaky. But yeah, like it follows the. I mean, just the premise, the fact that they have to have sex to get away. That's like my worst nightmare. So, but like just the atmosphere of it because it was so kind of like an ambiguous time period. Like it kind of felt like 80s, but then they had like I mean most of the technology was old, but then there was that one girl that had like the weird seashell Kindle thing. So yeah, that's going on the list. Number four, I think you might really classify this more as a thriller than horror, and there might be a couple more on my list like that. But Frozen, not the Disney, but the movie where the people are trapped on the ski lift, and it's like they're gonna freeze to death. So like I've never even seen the entire movie because I couldn't get past the one part where the guy jumps and breaks both his legs like compound fractures. That was no, no, no. I might could handle it now, but at the time I was just like, I can't get past this part. I had to turn it off because it was giving me so much anxiety. And that's the deal. It's like the stuff that gives me is going to make my anxiety worse, or like I'm not going to be able to sleep and I got to get up and go to work in the morning. That's the stuff that freaks me out. It's like the thinking about it afterward. Like Paranormal Activity. That was on Lisa's list, so I didn't put it on mine. But the movie, I was kind of like, whatever. But then afterward, I started thinking, like, what if there really are demons? So that freaked me out. Lake Mungo, I'm not putting that on this list because it was on Lisa's list. That was kind of the case with that, where it's just one of those that just makes you think, and then you're just constantly thinking about it, and then that's the part that freaks me out. And kind of along the same lines as the last one, this is going to be a weird one. Final Destination 5, which I did eventually watch the movie and liked it. I liked the whole wraparound thing. That is the one I'm thinking of, right? But there were certain scenes in that where, like, I think there was one with like a gymnastics scene, and there's like a electrical cord and some water, so you know they're fixing to get electrocuted, or it's making you think they're fixing to get electrocuted. And the tension of it, like the anticipation of that was just like too much. That, and also I think there was a girl getting LASIK surgery. I don't remember what happened with either of those. All I remember is the dread, the anxiety that it was inducing, and I couldn't watch it because it was just like, this is probably going to be one that nobody's going to agree with, but The Conjuring 2. I mean, the first movie I found kind of scary, like the part with the clap. I mean, that was, I remember actually being scared on that part. The Conjuring 2, it's mostly The Nun, which I've never seen the Nun movies, or movie. Is there one or two? There's two, right? I don't remember. But I've never seen those. And I love The Conjuring 2. That's probably my favorite of the franchise. But yeah, the Nun parts kind of freaked me out. I remember the first time I tried to watch it, I couldn't get through it. Just because I was just afraid I was afraid of being afraid. I was afraid it was going to freak me out and give me nightmares, and then I wasn't going to be able to go to work the next day. And that's kind of what happened the second time I watched it. I ended up having to finish it the next day in the daylight. Okay, this is one that I'm cheating on again. Number 7 is I'm thinking of ending things. I don't think that would actually be classified as a horror, but it's so much like this nightmare fever dream that it's just unsettling. And I remember like just that movie messed me up for weeks because I was just like so depressed over the ending and stuff. And I've never gone back and tried to watch it again, like after reading like what it was supposed to mean and what all the references were and everything. But so I'm gonna put that on the list though, even though it's not necessarily horror. There were enough horror elements in it to me that it was pretty freaky. Number 8, I'm not even sure if this one is horror or if it would just be kind of mystery thriller. The ending is definitely horror-ish. So that is The Lighthouse. That movie was just weird. I mean, I liked it, but like the ending and stuff, like it was just weird. I don't know. That one, ugh. Number 9 is a South Korean movie that I don't actually remember what my reaction to it was, but thinking about it now, it's kind of like, that's kind of creepy. That's kind of freaky. And that is The Wailing. There were like several parts in that that were kind of like, I don't, no. And finally, am I on 10? Yeah. Okay. Number 10 is The Innkeepers. That one, I remember when I was watching it, I was kind of annoyed with the characters, and it was kind of boring, like not a lot's happening. But it's one of those that just kind of, it's a slow burn, and yeah, there ended up being some pretty creepy stuff in that. And it's one of those I kind of kept thinking about afterward, and it's just like, haunted hotel kind of thing, but. Mm. Anyway, that is my list of horrors that freak me out. Not horrors, horrors. So I will put a link to Lisa's video in the description. And until next time, yeah, until next time, thanks for watching. And that's not what I say. What is it? I mean, we could do, since it's horror, we could do the keep on creeping on. Yeah, cheers, thanks a lot. But what is the other thing I say? Oh, it's yeah, cheers, thanks a lot. Never mind. I'm bad at this.